Now back here looking again at company.pri, I want to talk for a bit about this notion of round robin and how you can configure round robin for different records. Just a minute ago, we created that short name called our file server as a CNAME for file1.company.pri. And that's awesome when I have a single name that I need to translate to some other easier to remember name. But CNAMEs do not actually provide a way for me to load balance traffic across multiple different machines. I can do this, however, by creating what is called round robin, which with round robin, you're never going to see anything called round robin here in DNS Manager. It's just a way that you configure a couple of different records to point incoming clients into multiple different locations. Let me say that instead of using a CNAME here for file1.company.pri, I instead want to point users to our file server in a way that will load balance those users between file1 and file2. Now the assumption here is that file 1 and file 2 are exactly the same. And in fact, they have to be because you never know which machine an incoming user is going to get pointed to. It's for this reason that you typically find round-robin records going to web servers, stateless web servers, as opposed to file servers or application servers. But because I have these two records here, let's go ahead and create a round-robin configuration for our two servers, file 1 and file 2. I'll begin that process by creating not a CNAME record, but instead an A record. So for that A record, let's call it our file server, and then the IP address of that server being the first IP address of file 1 here, which is 192.168.0.3. Let me add the host in here, and then again add another A record, also called our file server, and point it to 192.168.0. And then file 2, which is 104. Notice what I'm doing here. I'm creating two records that have the same name here, our file server, that have, in fact, I put the wrong IP address over here, 0.103, that are now pointing to file 1 and file 2. This is the mechanism that you set up round robin for a specific DNS record. At this point, any user that attempts to connect to our file server will get directed towards one or the other of those two machines. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, well, how do I go about being a little more granular in terms of where those users end up going? And that's the thing about round robin. Round robin literally round robins the incoming requests. And so there's not a lot of granularity or really any further granularity in terms of how you end up directing users towards one machine or another. A round robin configuration will just simply send each subsequent request to the next host in the list. File 1, then file 2, file 1, then file 2. There are other technologies out there like network load balancing that can give you better control over how you might weight the different users coming in. But here with round robin, that's about the extent of what you'll get.